everyone, Brad from OCAM 4x4. Today we'll be installing an electric tonneau cover on a Z71 Colorado. Starting the removal stage of the soft tonneau cover, you're going to need a T30 Torx bit to remove the 4 screws. You have one here, you have one here, here and here. For the tray trim piece, there will be one T30 Torx screw piece that will be located here. 4 Phillips head plastic clips, which will be located here, here, here and here. And then on the end, you'll have 2 10mm bolts, which will be located here and in here. After all the hardware has been removed, you can grab the plastic trim piece and it will just pull out like so. Removing the soft tonneau, you have 4 T30 screw bits. You've got one here, here, here and here. So you just use your T30 on the socket and undo them. Once the soft tonneau is taken off, you'll just have the 2 foam strips here. These can just be peeled off as they are not needed. Once you've got the foam strip off and on the end of the tub there, you've got these 2 foam blocks. I'm using a trim removal tool just to help get behind the foam. Another easy way, if you have some fishing line, you can run that behind where the sticky adhesive is, and that'll just help get it off. In the kit for the tonneau cover, you'll get this foam strip. This will go on top of the alloy bracket here, and it will just help stop any vibration between the tonneau cover and the tub when you're driving along. Once you get to the end here and you have the leftover foam, grab a knife and just trim it to the end. Now that we've come to the stage of assembling the tonneau cover, you'll want to grab your side rail. These have 3 captive nuts in them. These will line up with the pre-drilled holes in the tonneau canister itself. This little locating pin on the end here will slide into the end of the wing on the rail. Grab a mate to give you a hand. Quickly pull this roller cover out, so then you can then put your rails onto the side on here, sliding it on, and then it will twist over onto the roller cover. So you'll grab your 5mm Allen bolts, and then these will go underneath and tighten into the rail themselves. You have your top cover here. This will sit on the top on these bolt holes. They'll line up with the holes in the top of this plate. This will slide into place. Make sure the rubber strip here sits under the side panel wing piece. Then you can grab your screws and your Phillips head screwdriver. The little screw goes through the black fill-in piece, like so. That goes in and screws in. And then you get your little top cap piece, and that will sit on the top and push in to cover the Phillips head screw. Repeat this step for all the other 5 screw holes. Next, you'll grab your little rubber end caps. These slide into the sleeve here, pushing in quite firm so they stop any water getting into the end. For these body brackets, you have these torque screws under the sailplane here. You'll undo these and then mount the body bracket. Once you have them undone, you will line the bracket up with the corresponding holes for the torque screws and then do them back up. You can then grab the outside bracket, thread this into the threaded section on the body bracket. This is your 5mm Allen key. Keep these ones loose for any adjustment you need when you're putting the tonneau cover on. For your drainage hole, you're going to grab your drill and your step piece. You've got these oval sections here which are just backed by plastic. So grab your drill, hold down a little bit as you need to drill it out to a 28mm. This one's just another one we have that's been modified so you don't end up smashing into the back of the cab. So we can start with this smaller one to get it going. Change it over to the bigger one. So grab your hose, we can test fit it through the hole, like so, goes in perfect. So for the second hole, same process again. For the drainage hose and the switch, I have marked out just with some white paint pen where they need to go. So for this, we're going to have to remove the tail light with your 7mm socket. If the tail light is a little bit stiff, you can use a trim tool just to gently pop it out from its little sockets. That one will just pull out. You can gently leave that to the side, like so. And then we'll be ready to drill through. Drilling the hole for the drainage and the switch, it's easier to start with the pilot hole first. So we can drill the pilot hole through. I have marked just with an X where it needs to go. And you'll grab your step bit. Put that in your drill. Once the holes have been drilled, you just want to go through the back of them, grab a deburring tool or a small file, just to run off any edges that could be a little bit rough for the switch and the wiring. Because you have the exposed edges now, we just have a paint pen. You can grab that and just go around to cover any of the exposed metal, like so. And then you can go through and grab your switch, run the cable through the hole, grabbing the little locking ring for the end. That will go up and on and tighten onto the back, holding the switch in place. For the drainage hoses, put the hose clamp on the end. You can slide it on to the drainage points on the canister, like so. Give it a twist to help it go on. Then with your Phillips head, just tighten the hose clamp up and then repeat the same process for the other side. Now the tonneau is all assembled, you're going to want to find two mates to give you a hand to lift it in. Come on, mates. Now we have the tonneau cover in the back of the car. You can grab your two front bracket pieces and just put these back in to the bracket here. You can do them up finger tight and then using your 5mm Allen key, you can tighten these back up. You're going to want to grab your the T-nut with the thread on it. This will slide into the little cutout section in the rail over here. So then you'll want to lift it up a little bit to go over the first bracket, up to the second bracket. Grab your second T-nut in the little cutout, lift it up into the cutout on the bracket, and you can bring it down a little bit so the threads go through onto either side. Grabbing your nut now. You can grab your 10mm socket now and lightly do that nut up onto the thread just to hold it there. Do the same for the end here. For the wiring, the easiest way is to drop your inner guard liner down. We have this yellow stick here. We have taped the wires for the tonneau and everything together, and it's just been taped to the end of the stick. We'll pull the yellow stick from this end over here, and it'll pull the cables through the inside of the tub. So over here you have the other end of the stick. You want to pull that through. What we can do now is untape it. All right, now we have the tape taken off. You've got this plug being the power. You've got your central locking and the plug for the switch. These will just plug into the tonneau cover here. With the wires, you can just tuck them around, make them look neat. For the switch cabling here, we've just taped it onto the end of this yellow stick. We've run that up the side of the tub, so you can just pull it straight through here and have it come out here. This will allow you to connect it onto the switch we fitted previously. All right, so with this excess cabling we had here, we've just coiled it up a little bit, put a zip tie around it, just to make it a little bit neater. So now we can get your drain pipe with the hose clamp around it. We can put this onto the end of our tonneau cover, and then we can feed it through the side of the tub where we pre-drilled it. Pulling it through, routing it down to the bottom there. We can get the hose clamp on the drainage hose that you've already put onto the tonneau cover. Grab your Phillips head screwdriver, and we can tighten this up to hold it in place. So because our grommet didn't fit in the tub here, we're just going to use some silicone to fill the hole up. It's probably good if you grab just a like spare rag, as it does get quite messy. So we're just going to silicone around in the join. You'd repeat the process for the other side as well. Now that everything's been siliconed in place, you can grab your tail light and pop this back in place, finding the locating pins on the back of the tail light, pushing them in. Grab your little screws, screw them back into place. Now that everything's installed in the car, we can take these drainage hoses that we put on before and the holes that we drilled before, and just run the drainage hoses through the holes, feeding them through. For the wiring for the tonneau cover, we run it from the tub down the side of the tub, along the chassis rail, zip tied it to the chassis rail. Then we've had it come up between the engine and the firewall, and it's come out here. For these, you've just got your negative and positive. So you'll just have to wire it up to your battery and the corresponding negative and positive. For the central locking wire, we've run it through one of the grommets in the floor. This will come over into your main harness. The central locking wire will be the brown wire with the yellow trace. There'll be a few of them, but it all runs into the one wire eventually. So now that we have the tonneau in the tub, we're going to tighten these Allen key bolts on all four corners, and then we can shut the tonneau cover to align these rails, and then we can tighten these 10mm bolts up here. So tensioning the tonneau cover, you want to grab your alloy bar, slide it in the rail inserts, pull that even. That will align the rail sides for when the tonneau comes out, and it'll be even, so then we can tighten it that way.
With the self-adhesive strips applied in your kit, you're required to fit it along the inside of the sail plane and then just trim the edge just for a neat finish.
Now that the tonneaus are fitted and aligned, we can give it a test. The OCAM tonneaus come with 2 remotes and some lubrication oil for maintenance.